Good. Well, welcome. Are we ready?
Ready to go?
We're good to go.
Great.
All right. Well, so good afternoon, everyone. Monica Settlemeyer, Director of Communications and Marketing for the City of Waco. We appreciate you taking the time to come today as we discuss the political rally that we have here in Waco on Saturday. Just a reminder, this is the focus of this conference will be on the logistics that are within our purview at the city. This event is being organized by an outside campaign event organization. This is not a City of Waco event. So questions in regards to why Waco was selected or what the program will entail, some of those type of things, I do have a media contact with the campaign that I can get you should you have any questions in regards to that. I do thank you for those of you that submitted the questions in advance. Those will be the questions that we will be addressing today. Any additional questions, you can email me after this, but we'll be going through those specific questions. So without further, I will have Bradley go ahead and get us started.
Thanks, Monica. I'm Bradley Ford. I serve as Waco's city manager and just want to express my thanks for each of you being here, each of your outlets being here. As you might imagine, we've been pretty busy preparing for the event on Saturday. Many of our dedicated city staff have been working with campaign organizers to host a very organized and safe event on Saturday. A little background on the event: we officials at Waco Regional Airport, which is a city-owned airport, were contacted about 2 weeks ago about a potential visit from former President Trump and the possibility of a campaign event on the airport's property. And pretty quickly, as you might imagine, city officials and airport staff and multiple city departments worked with the FAA, national, state, and local security agencies to establish the framework for hosting this event, which campaign officials do estimate may draw as many as 15,000 people. The City of Waco quickly established what's called a user agreement for the usage of the property at the airport. In that agreement, the organizers agreed to pay the city in advance for the use of the property, as well as services such as traffic control and public safety. I do have an update on that. The organizers have paid that full bill as of about an hour ago. That payment's for, as I said, public safety, traffic control, as well as the use of the airport grounds. You've already heard from Monica Settlemeyer, our Director of Communications and Marketing. We've also got alongside me Jonathan Cook, our Director of Parks and Recreation, as well as Megan Davis, our Community Engagement Manager. Those probably are familiar faces to many because they've been managing public events in Waco for 20 plus years, including events like the Ironman races, large Magnolia events, National Championship Parade recently as well. So they're quite used to managing large-scale events, and they'll be helping significantly with this event as well. As you know, one of the most important things is communication, and when you have so many different agencies and people involved, I have full confidence that that team is going to do well communicating through this event. And they're also very well versed in our procedures and policies on event management. So with all that said, I want to turn it over to Mr. Cook, I believe.
Sure. Thank you, Bradley. And appreciate all y'all being here. And I know y'all have reached out here to Monica and different departments of the city. What we wanted to try to do is have a conversation to explain and really address those questions that were submitted. We appreciate you reaching out. We will get to the end of the conference and share additional questions. Can be sent over via email to Monica, and we will try to address those for areas that we are under control of. First and foremost, is this building steam? And what are the latest crowd estimates? As Bradley mentioned, when we first were approached and been talking, that 15,000 number is something that campaign organizers are currently expecting. Given Waco's central location in Texas, we do expect a lot of drive-in traffic from different areas, Austin, DFW, Fort Worth. So it's a large event, and like any time we put on an event here in Waco, we know it's easily accessible, central location. And so that 15,000 number is the latest estimate that we have received. With our communications with the campaign, we are asking for updated event estimates over the next 24 to 48 hours as this event arrives. I mentioned Waco, and what does this mean to our city? It's a lot of eyes, national attention, of course, and so from our city standpoint, you know, we've grown. We're continuing to grow, and millions of people are visiting our vibrant city each year for tourism. And one thing that's come along with that is Megan and I have grown through the events process or larger and larger events. But whether it's a community gathering event or whether it's a response to a natural disaster, personally, I feel what this means to have a large gathering on a national scale, it showcases our ability as a city, as city staff, and also different agencies throughout the county and the state that we come together as a team to provide a safe gathering place for the public. And with any event that we put on, safety is of utmost importance for us. And that goes, we permit upwards of 200 events per year through the city. That can be a wedding at a park, that can be a parade in downtown, but even large scale events or a marathon. We take that safety very seriously. We have an outdoor events committee that works on such events. This includes all different levels of departments of the city, to where we go over the planning and process and procedures to make sure that is in place before any event kicks off. Now, Saturday's rally, a couple things and some basic questions here we want to go over. One of the things we've been, is it free? Can anyone attend, or advance tickets required? The event is free to the public and open. However, in working with the campaign officials, they do encourage all attendees to register in advance. That way they can send out information in regards to official start times, any change of programs, but really most important from our perspective, when you register for this event, you're going to get parking information. So as you can imagine, any event with 15,000 people, little traffic control, that parking of where you're going to enter, that's going to be included. So in order to register for this event, this is encouraged, and you can do that at the event website. So as Bradley mentioned, about 2 weeks ago, we were contacted this and switched into event mode, and it sort of most reminds me of some planning for a national championship parade. You know, we never want to jinx and say Baylor's going to win a championship, but we're ready when it happens. And the same thing with this event. We're ready, and we have a blueprint for large events such as this. And so our preparations, when we were contacted approximately 2 weeks ago, that team started coming together. And formulating, hey, here's an event, here's the differences in this style of event, and then also looking at the location as well. As you know, airport is not a common place for an event, but the good thing about the airport is the availability of open land, flat terrain, so it really does lend itself to an event such as this. That team of how many employees were involved, Bradley mentioned, right now we have a team of about 30 employees. And the list is long. I mean, that's everywhere from public works, obviously, fire department, emergency management, even our team Parks and Rec, down to solid waste. It's everybody at the table and giving input, and then breaking that down a little bit further. There's a core group of about 10 people who have been all hands on deck to make sure that we're going to be implementing a traffic plan and then making sure that public safety is of top concern. So with that standpoint, Megan Davis, our community engagement manager, really our logistics point of contact here, and been working hand in hand with the campaign to make sure everything is in place. So I'm going to let Megan walk you through a little run of show. A lot of that's been publicized already, but we're going to get what we've heard, and Megan's going to walk us through that, and then we're going to look at some parking topics as well.
So as Jonathan and Bradley mentioned, we're in full mode moving forward with the setup out there at the airport. And for Run a Show on Saturday, gates will open at noon. Program activities are slated to begin at 2 p.m. With former President Trump speaking at approximately 5 p.m. Event organizers are expecting a 60 to 90-minute speech with the conclusion of the event around 7 p.m. that day.
So one of the things in looking at that is, where can I park? Obviously, you know, you go out to the Waco Airport and there's some parking lots, but as I've mentioned, we've got a lot of parking areas. Megan, what time are we going to be able to start arriving at the event for people who are coming? What time will guests be able to start being able to park?
Guests will be able to park at 8 a.m. We will have, like Jonathan mentioned, traffic security and traffic flow will be mentioned on our website, but we will have officers to direct airport patrons and event patrons. But at 8 a.m. is the line opening.
Good deal. So a little more specifics I want to go into on the parking and traffic control. As you know, the main entryway into the Waco Regional Airport is on Steinbeck Bend, traveling through the intersection at 19th and China Spring Highway. That is the main entrance for the event. That officer is going to be manned with officers throughout the day, utilizing flash signal as needed, but making sure we have continuous traffic flow. You can also come, I will note, Airport Drive, one of the other arteries that comes out to the airport, is under construction, only northbound traffic. And a little other thing that we want to tell our local community is the fact that there is soccer games taking place at the Heart of Texas Soccer Complex that day, so we expect some heavy traffic, so we are asking people to try to enter in on that Steinbeck. You will come in, and at the intersection of Steinbeck Bend and Karl May, there will be signage directing airport traffic to proceed straight ahead, also credentials straight ahead. Parking will go off to the left, continuing on Steinbeck Bend. All of these areas, we have a robust effort of officers. Really, guest experience is very important for us here in Waco. We want people who are visiting us to have a good experience at this event, and those officers will direct people to the parking areas. One specific question was, and I'm going to go back to this, is not only minimal parking, but then also at the airport, we're under construction right now with a great renovation project taking place. So what impact does that have? Well, fortunately, this event is all outside on the exterior grounds. So the construction is limited to the inside of the airport terminal area. There will be no impact in regards to as far as that construction taking place. And then as far as the airport and the parking areas, it doesn't take long, and once y'all get out there, it's just such an expansive area, hundreds of acres of flat land, and so it is unpaved parking to where most of the guests will be going. I think we have 12 designated lots that will be manned not only with entryways with our security team, but then also volunteers from the event to make sure people are going in safely. Question is, so 15,000 people out at the airport. I mentioned a lot of open. It's question was a smaller airport. Where will they eat? Where will people use the restroom? Where will they stand? We are a mid-sized regional airport. We're making a lot of improvements, and Joel Martinez does a great operation there. I'm going to let Megan talk a little bit about what we've gotten from event organizers in regards to not just the ceremony, but the amenities that are going to be on the event site.
Working with event organizers, they have provided layout maps for us they've organized food trucks and beverage trucks to be both in the interior and exterior of the event footprint. In addition, they're going to have facilities for restroom facilities and trash facilities throughout the grounds in order to accommodate the number of folks that will be parking out off or on the ground, on the airport grounds. So they have they've arranged folks to be out there to provide the necessary things that we'll need throughout the day as people are waiting for the program to begin and through the program itself.
So as guys, I want to say another benefit and why it's recommended as far as the registration for the event restrictions. Any event like this, there are things that you can and can't do, things you can bring, can't bring. And so one thing I know, this is a stand-in room only event. There will be some chairs and media areas and also some bleacher with credentials. However, for the most of the population and the guests coming to it's a standing room only event. I wanted to make note, organizers have told us that no chairs will be allowed within the event interior. So just making note, people, I know any event I go to, a large fest, I want to bring my chair and chill out a little bit, but it is standing room only. And with that standing room only, I want to note as we throw out that 15,000 number and the question, how can you accommodate? Can you accommodate that many people? So capacity numbers, we've worked closely with our fire marshal and confirmed that on the runway tarmac area where this event will be taking place, there is ample room to accommodate 15,000 people. Additionally, in the parking areas, we've done an analysis and there is ample parking for a capacity of up to 15,000. So in looking at that, I want to add on the part, we also mentioned the 12 lots. A question, what happens when that gets full? Obviously, with any event planning, you have contingency plans in place. We have also identified overflow lots that will be closed off at the start of the event, and they will be activated as needed if we do reach a parking capacity. So looking at safety, and obviously mentioned at the front, safety of utmost concern. I just wanted to let y'all know and really say, and Bradley said this, when I look at event planning, communication and coordination is of utmost importance to a successful event plan. Now, Megan and myself and really all of our team, we have been working daily throughout the days and nights to make sure that that communication is in place. We've been working with multiple agencies and branches of law enforcement on all different levels to plan this event. And then I want to say that the event is complying with our city ordinances as it pertains to outdoor events. With that, a little bit of housekeeping, Bradley did mention that there was a prepayment agreement within the use agreement, and that has been paid. And so we are moving forward. Setup is beginning out at the airport as we speak. It will be continuing over the next couple days. The event, obviously, all day on Saturday. Teardown will be on Sunday. And so the event does expect it to be completely cleared from the airport grounds. They have also provided and complied with our cleanup policy. One of the things we have within our ordinance is a cleanup plan. They've been working and will be making sure that they leave the grounds as they found them. Another big question that keeps coming up, and I don't want to forget, and it's a couple things, and we're going to go back to navigating that area around the intersection of 19th and China Spring Highway and Steinbeck in the China Spring community, and we want to make sure that residents know how traffic's going to flow. I'm going to give you a little shortcut as well. But before I get to that, I want to ask Megan once again to chime in, as she's been working closely with the airport, and we want to make sure that people flying in and out of our airport also have a good experience. Might not be coming to the event, but they're traveling. So Megan, give us an update on the airlines and the airport report.
Sure. At this point, all scheduled flights are planned to come in with no impacts. The Waco Regional Airport will operate with regular operations on Saturday. We do encourage, for those that are flying in or out of Waco to arrive early. We mentioned earlier that there will be a designated route to get to the airport for access, manned by police officers at the intersection. We've also pushed out notifications to all travelers with communication efforts to make sure that everyone is fully aware of the impact to the airport and the grounds on Saturday.
Good deal. And once again, there is a dedicated access route coming into the airport. They will meet an officer. We encourage people, if they are the traveler, to have their boarding passes be able to show. But we also know people are going to be picking up guests arriving or maybe dropping off. And so we are specifying and having officers at that location to make sure traffic is flowing freely so there's no interruptions with travel plans. Back to traffic real quick. A couple spots I want to hit. So if you're out in the China Spring area, maybe live out there, visiting family or friends out there, let's say you're in China Spring and you're coming into Waco. Most of us know what you can do is take a left. You're on China Spring Highway. You take a left on Flat Rock, Megan, correct? Flat Rock Road, and then that turns into Washington Lane. That would spit you out back on Steinbeck Bend to where you do not have to get at that signaled intersection. Now, there could potentially be backups at that intersection, but once again, I want to say officers will be having traffic flow through there. There is no street closure in place. So a little different from perhaps a race where a street might be closed. It is going to be flowing, so a little bit of patience. And the same goes if you've been in Waco trying to get back out to the China Spring area. If you take a right onto Washington and loop around using Flat Rock, we are encouraging local traffic to use that route to try to avoid and lessen the congestion at that intersection. Another thing I wanted to mention intersection is then we're going to Flat Rock Road, but on the airport side, and that is at the intersection of Flat Rock and Skeet Easton. This is a road where people will still be able to access Airport Park and get to the park area Corps of Engineers property, but there will be an officer located at that intersection, and that is not a back road that you'll be able to get into the event or to the airport. That is going to be for park traffic only, so you will not be able to access the airport or the event from Flat Rock and Skeet Easton. That is also going to be a main way to exit the event as well. The exiting strategy of the event, we do have a plan in place as far as opening lanes up. Depending on the parking lot, you could be diverted to a dedicated exit area. That could be on Steinbeck going to Skeet Easton, to Flat Rock, to where you make a big loop around back to China Spring Highway, or off the 185. I know I'm speaking a lot of local traffic lingo here. But, or you might, depending on the lot, if you're on the other side, you might go out Steinbeck Bend straight back into Waco. And so it's much like we do at a Baylor football game and traffic control. Sometimes you got to go July 4th. You know, when we exit, you know, you got half the parking lot going one way, half the other. But what I want you to remember is, and then also be very appreciative of our law enforcement and local teams that are going to be working these intersections. It's going to be a long day. But at the same time, you know, we feel this is a way to serve our community, serve our nation in providing a safe event, not only for people coming here, but for people who are coming out to the event as well. So with that, it wraps up what we had as far as submitted questions. I'm going to let Monica speak. Also, Bradley, if you have any wrap-up comments. But I mentioned additional questions can be submitted email. We will get back to them. But from there, those were the questions that we had submitted.
Yeah, so thank you again for submitting your questions in advance. If you have anything additional that precluding this, please let me know. Please email me. But we do appreciate you taking the time to help share this information with our community, ensuring that we are transparent with them and letting them know how to be able to get around on Saturday, what safety impacts will look like. So we appreciate you taking the time to be here today and to listen to this information. But please email me with any additional questions. If you need to get a hold of the campaign organizers, I can help direct that as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Y'all have a good day. Everybody got Monica's email?
And I know most of you are on the loop on this. As far as media credentials, City of Waco is not issuing any media credentials. It's not our event. Those you have to register online or through the campaign officials. And so make sure if you do plan to attend, you get registered.
Do you guys think media should arrive? This is just a question like for us.
I do not.
Okay.
Or where we're going to be?
Like our designated area or anything?
We do not have any of that